thought I recorded this fully a couple of days ago. That ended up not being the case. But anyway, going to be talking about the same subject. Exercise, reintroducing them. We're going to go through several things. The why, when, how, and how much. Considerations and final thoughts on the thing. But before I get started, I wanted to encourage you guys to like and subscribe to the channel. Still putting out content once or twice a week, something more manageable or something that has been manageable in the past. If you get a third video, that will be great. But today I want to talk about this because this is something that I see as a recurring theme inside of my own training, right? So the first thing when we talk about exercise considerations is the why. Why are we doing it? The main reason why we're doing it is because sometimes we have an emotional connection with exercises and we get rid of them for a while, and then we find that the stimulation, the mental stimulation that we get from training isn't necessarily there without that exercise. Like, we still get it, but we don't get it as much. I know for myself, I'm a big fan of the incline press, and I was just running out of joy training chest. So I recently put the incline barbell back in, and yeah, it's a monster, but I feel a lot better, with it in my chest training. And it's going to be heavy for a good while for me. 175, 225 is kind of where I'm at right now, but it's going to be heavy for a while. But even with knowing that grind is ahead, I have no problem fulfilling the work required to get better at it. So we have those connections that we just so desire with a lot of exercises. For some it's squats, for some it's barbell curls, deadlifts, all that. Know that every exercise works, but not every exercise works forever. So when you switch them in and out, that's a big reason of why you progress. But if you just have one that you constantly hold on to, take all of its variations and milk it for what it's worth. And I'll get into variations a little bit, but that's a brief reason on the why. Now, when to do it, that strictly depends on what you want to do. If you want to take it out and put it back in 1 to 2 weeks later, that's absolutely fine. If I've taken an exercise out for almost a year and reintroduced it and got new gains off of it. So the win is actually just a very individualistic type thing. I don't really have a guideline for it. Just whenever you feel like it, to be quite honest with you. A lot of stuff in bodybuilding is by feeling. I get that we have research, but also understand that that's part of the art when you're doing bodybuilding, is that a lot of it is just feeling it, right? And then you have to balance it with the numbers and with the data that you've compiled in your logbook or your training program or anything like that. So remember, bodybuilding is science. It's a balance. It's a thin line, but the art of it, that's when you combine both the science and the bodybuilding and you create the art. So that's just my little tangent right there. How and how much? When you're reintroducing the exercise, always keep in mind that there's going to be a reacclimation period with it. So that could be a couple of weeks, that could be a couple sessions, anything like that. I know that when I introduce anything that is a free weight, barbell-based movement, is going to take a minute to develop those neurological connections again, to get into that mindset again, to get into the groove again. So with that being said, hey, don't expect it to come back overnight, right? Don't expect the exercise, the strength you once had at it, because now you're talking about muscles that have been working, but have been working in a different type of pattern. You may have been using a dumbbell. You may have been using a plate-loaded machine. You may have been using a specialty barbell. Some of those muscles that you had probably will not be firing the way that you want. So I'm like Jim Wendler in 531. When you put in exercise, you have to start quote unquote too light, right? So it's something very manageable. If you follow an RPE or RIR scale for your training, definitely leave a couple reps in the tank. You probably want to do more sets of that exercise and at a lower volume rep wise than you normally would. So keep that in mind when you're putting these back in, is that when you're when you're putting them back in, they're not going to be at the volume that they once were. They're going to be a little bit lower. All right, so we got that. Considerations to understand that you have to take through that range of motion that you haven't taken it through in a while. You have to work with muscles that may have not neurologically fired when you were using that exercise before. So the main thing you want to consider is that, will this exercise hurt me, or has this exercise hurt me in the past? If it has, then you definitely want to leave it out of the rotation. Okay, a great thing to do is variations of an exercise. Now, a great tool for that, and I'm not getting any money for this, they don't know I'm plugging it, so I just had to put that disclaimer out there, is the Tenacitystrength database, exercise database. I think it's available for about 30-40 bucks, and what it is that it's literally 43 pages of dozens of exercises, and each of them you click on a YouTube link and you see variations of pushing and pulling exercises, of squatting, some isolation stuff, some single leg stuff. It's really a great tool. And I myself, I'll be honest, I have a couple of clients, I don't use it enough. So that's a brief plug for Tenacitystrength. That's a great tool for you guys to use. So I encourage you to go and pick that up and just see what's out there for your strength and muscle building. Because if you have an injury and you can do a variation of it, but you may not know that variation is out there, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I want you to go ahead and pick that guide up and see what's all available to you. All right, so that's something on considerations. Final thoughts. We are in bodybuilding, or we go to the gym and we do a lot of meathead stuff because we like it. That is the only reason. I mean, obviously health benefits and, we want to look good, but it's because we like it, guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a valid reason for doing 90% of anything, is that you just like doing it. If you haven't squatted in a while and you want to start back squatting light. Well, that's not very efficient for building muscle. Well, you know what? Neither is you talking on the internet like me. Do it. Just do it. If you like doing it, if you have a good connection with the muscle, if it feels like it's working really hard, then who am I to discard your lived experience in the gym? Go ahead and do it. Knock yourself out. And you want to know something? The only person that's going to improve from all of that is you. I promise you. So that's what I think about reintroducing movements or anything like that. Like I said, I had a much longer video recorded out, but I'm glad I redid this video because I cut out a lot of that nonsense that I was probably talking anyway. So for all you creators out there, your first draft is often your worst draft. So you may have to do a couple of retakes if you're doing something like this. But in any event, thanks for watching, guys. Really quick video this morning. Hey, like and subscribe to the channel. I'll do more of these quick whiteboard sessions like I was doing at Omaha. Hopefully I can get a bigger whiteboard. We'll see what goes on next week. But hey guys, that's all I got this morning. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great day.